Hey, bestie. Hey, boo thing. I am so glad that you are here. Okay, I'm coming begging. Okay, I'm coming begging because a friend in need is a friend indeed, right? Okay, so if you have not already taken care of these little tiny housekeeping things, I would love for you to do that now. All right, I need you to please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. I hope that by the end of the episode, at least you will have liked the video, comment in the comment section, and last but certainly not least, would you please share this episode with someone that you know would enjoy it also. It's coming up in mom of 4, plant mama of 7, music lover with a banging playlist, and 2 left feet, entrepreneur of over 17 years, and though a professional, y'all, I'm still an around the way girl at heart, earthy, eclectic, free spirit, a few piercings, and a few tats, road trip lover, random as you fill in the blank. Living, learning, loving, praying, and laughing my way through this amazing adventure called life. And I am here to help you do the same. Hi, I'm Tiffany, and this is Life Unscripted. Welcome. Now, let's jump into this week's amazing episode created especially for you and yours. Okay, hey family. I am back for another episode. This is your girl Tiffany, and I hope that you have been having a wonderful day so far. I want to thank you guys, first of all, just for being loyal listeners. I really appreciate you. I've been watching the stats, and the growth has been beautiful. We have listeners in Germany, so shout out to my listeners in Germany, listeners in Africa, whoop, 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 to the motherland, yes. Have listeners in Puerto Rico, and then all across the United States. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. You've made my day. You guys have made my week. I just can't say enough about how grateful I am for you just joining me on this journey and just being a part of the crew, being a part of my village, my tribe. And I love you. I really love you. And I pray for you guys. I do. But you didn't join in today to hear me go on and on and on about that. I want to talk to you about something I really hadn't discussed with you before. And so in the news, a part of the headlines, for those who are stargazers and follow, pop culture and celebrities, which I typically don't, but someone sent the clip to me, or actually the live video as it was happening to me. And so that's how I know about it, because otherwise I don't really tune in to celebrity culture that much. But all that being said, celebrity, actress, comedian, Tiffany Haddish, she went live on social media and she shaved off all her hair. And she said that the reasoning behind it, part of the reasoning behind it was she had never really seen her scalp. And that was a part of her that she wanted to experience and see. And then, of course, she went on to say that it also would save time because as African-American women, our hair can just be very time consuming and all that good stuff. But I want to talk about that because I share her experience. I've always had a head full of thick, long hair. I've had some times or periods where, I kind of went through a haircutting stage. So I'm not going to say my hair has been continuously long, always thick. Because, of course, everybody, wants to, kind of have a new little style every once in a while and spice it up. But just, just traditionally though, people that know me know that I typically have really long and thick hair. And so anyway, a couple of months ago, and to be exact, it was on daylight savings time. So it was in March. So just a few months ago. And it was a Sunday morning. And I woke up and my hair was just out in this really, really big, thick fro. And, when it's flat ironed and straightened out, it's, like I said, really long. And, but in the fro state, it was just hard to manage. And even when it was flat ironed, it's like, okay, what do you do but just let it hang here? I really didn't do too much to my hair as far as styles or being creative was concerned. So anyway, the fro was doing really good. She was doing her thing for a few days, but as my sisters know out there, those who have 4C hair, that stuff can be a little hard to manage sometimes. And so after a few days of a good run of having a nice twist out, I wake up on this Sunday morning and my hair, just looking at it in the mirror. I was laying in the bed. I was laying in my bedroom, or in my bed, but I was able to lay in the bed and look directly into my master bathroom. And there's like a huge wall with just a big mirror there. So I was able to lay in the bed and look directly into the mirror, into the next room. And I saw my hair. And immediately just waking up and seeing that stuff, it just messed up my day. Just looking at it, because I was like, oh my gosh, I can't rock it another day. Like, I'm going to have to wash this. It's Sunday, so it's wash day. And I knew that was going to take up like the majority of my day. Like, it took hours to, get it prepared to wash, and then washing it and scrubbing my scalp and treating it and putting, different masks and different products on it and letting those things sit, and then rinsing them out and putting the next product, and then deep conditioning it and moisturizing it. And then you have to comb it out and detangle. And, I didn't really put too much heat, so I won't say that I would blow dry mine, but some people, take the time to blow dry theirs. So that's more time. And then you have to twist it, and then you've got to set it, and then you got to do this. And it took forever. And this was my routine every so many days. I would have to do this to keep up my natural look, the natural hair. And you all have seen, my pictures probably on social media or whatever, so you all see how big my hair was. It just took forever. I loved the end results, but the work that was involved was ridiculous. And then if I were to go get it flat ironed, it would cost about $75 to have it flat ironed, ends trimmed, all this. All that being said, I say all of that to say that this particular Sunday morning, I wake up and I look in the mirror and I see it and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no way. Like, today, I can't do it. I cannot do it. I'm not going to give up half my day doing this freaking hair. So I laid there and I thought about the frustrations of it. And I thought, why am I doing this? Like, what is the reason that I'm putting myself through this gruesome task every so many days? I'm taking away the pleasure that I could be having in doing other things because I'm fooling with this hair. And it's hot, it's thick, it's dry sometimes, it's hard to deal with. And what are you doing this for? Who are you doing this for? I mean, are you trying to impress somebody? Like, what is the deal with this hair? And so I laid there and I went deeper into thought. And I began to think about other things that I'm dealing with and struggling with, or I was at the time, dealing with, struggling with, fighting against. And I was like, why? Like, why are you dealing with so many things that are difficult for you? Yeah, everything is not perfect or peachy keen, and I get that. But there are some things that you can choose in life that just don't have to be a struggle. You know what I'm saying, y'all? And so the hair was just the beginning. It was an outward thing, but there were some things that were going on internally and relationship wise and things like that. Not relationship, like I've been single for 7 years. So no, not that type of relationship, but just saying, they're like, why am I fighting with some things, you know? And so the hair was just one. But I got to thinking, I laid there, and beyond looking at my hair, I got to thinking, why are you dealing with this person? You know, he's off and he's on. He's in and he's out. He wants to, then he doesn't. Why are you fighting with that? Like, why are you even hanging around trying to deal with that? Or, you know, that's a struggle for you. And it didn't even have to be. It's really easy. Like, move on, you know? And I lay there and I thought about that, and I was like, leave his ass alone. Go on. Like, you don't have to, it should not be this hard, you know? And I thought about that. And then I thought about, you know, acquaintances, you know, people that are kind of such, you know, they're off in their own. They go in their own world. They come out when they want to, when it's convenient for them. Sometimes they want to deal. Sometimes they don't want to be friends. Sometimes they'll answer the phone if you call. Sometimes they won't. Like, just sometimey, off and on, wishy-washy kind of people. And I thought, why are you dealing? Like, it's not that hard. Let them go, you know? And so as I laid there in deep thought, thinking about just various scenarios, nothing too crazy or messy or drama, nothing like that, but just things where I typically just kind of grin and bear it, you know, smile and push through, you know, even if I don't want to, it's like I do it out of duty or just out of laziness because I don't want to find an alternative way to handle the situation, such as my hair. You know, maybe it drives me crazy, but I'm like, well, it's got to get done. No, it doesn't. Like, you can do a different hairstyle. Like, how about you cut that stuff off, you know? And so I thought, and I said, you know what? My son's barber, he's open on Sundays. And typically, like, after church on Sundays, we'll just stay out and we'll go, you know, to the barber and let them get their haircuts. And then we'll run our errands and do little family stuff and come on home to eat and whatever. So anyway, he's open on Sundays. And so I thought, you know what? You are not going to do this right now. Like, no, you know what? It's not that serious. Cut that, excuse my language, y'all, but, you know, cut that stuff off. You don't got to deal with this. So I picked up my phone, went to my barber's app, and I looked for an appointment. Sure enough, on that day at 2:00 in the afternoon, he had an opening. And so I didn't tell anybody because I didn't want anyone to be like, what? Girl, you are not cutting off your hair. No, there's no way you're going to cut off all your hair. So I didn't tell anybody because I didn't want to be talked out of this. But I made the appointment and I ran some errands and I just couldn't wait. Like, I got out of the bed, I took my shower and just pampered myself that day, you know, shaved the legs and the underarm, whatever, you know, did my little eyelashes, went and got my eyebrows arched and, you know, whatever. You know, I just did all these grooming things and just kind of made myself feel really good, like a pamper day, like a self-care Sunday. And went and got the oil changed on the car and did all kinds of stuff. Went and bought a new lipstick color. And then I arrived to the barbershop at 2:00. And I get there and the barber is like, where are your boys? And I said, they're at home. This appointment's not for them. He's like, it's not. What do you mean? And so, you know, I said, this is for me. And he's like, do what? First of all, let me shout out my barber. Rashad Cousins of Raleigh Barbers. He is a beast. Let me just tell y'all, if y'all ever in North Carolina and you need a barber, he's a beast. Check him out. But anyway, so he was like, no. I am not about to. He said, Rashad said, what are you going through? I said, I'm not going through anything. He's like, no. What are you going through? He said, no woman's going to come up in a barbershop with all the hair you have and tell me you want it all shaved off and tell me you're not going through something. I was like, he's like, you know how women get? And I was like, no, I'm not going through anything. I'm tired. And I'm not going to keep struggling against things. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be that hard. You know, there are some things within our power that we can really simplify in our lives. You know, there are some struggles we may, you know, deal with. And you know, maybe at the time, there's not much we can do about that but grin and bear it. But there are some things you can choose if you're going to deal with or not, you know. And so this is one of those things. So anyway, I didn't go through all that with him. But so he's like, there's no way I'm not going to cut your hair. And so we went back and forth. He walks away and gets himself some snacks or some candy or something. He kind of paced the floor. He looked at my hair. He's like, nah, no, I'm not great. He just kind of, and I'm like, yes, you are. You are going to cut my hair. He's like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. No. And so I had my daughter, my baby girl with me, my 6-year-old. And he said, I am so sorry. He said, when I finally got convinced him, he's like, because I'm not, oh my God, no, I cannot. He's like, all your hair, all your pretty hair. I see you on social media all the time. I love your hair. There's no way. And I'm like, yes, please, you have to cut my hair. And so after I finally convinced him to go through with it and cut my hair, he was telling my 6-year-old daughter, because the other kids, they're like adults. I've got 2 young adult kids, and then one's in middle school. But anyway, he was telling the baby girl, that's who came with me. He was like, I am so sorry that I'm cutting your mommy's hair. Like, I cannot believe I'm cutting your mommy's hair. I'm so sorry. And I began to take pictures and video, and I began to send them to family as the process was going on. Like, I would just send them pictures of hair in my lap, or big old pile of hair on the floor. Like, my whole afro was in my lap at one point. And they began to send messages and call. What? Are you losing your mind? Are you depressed? Are you crazy? What's happening? Da, 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 da. What are you going through? Oh my God, what are you going through? Do you need to talk to somebody? Are you okay? And I'm like, guys, I am fine. I am fine. And I finally feel free. So anyway, I was super excited when I left the shop. I loved my new do. I went in there with a head full of hair, came out with none. And he tried to leave me a little bit. I said, lower. You're going to have to take it all off, like lower. I had, like, my sons had more hair than me. And anyway, so he did his thing. I loved the cut. I came home, I took pictures, and people were like, what in the world? But it was an amazing outpour of support. People sent me messages on the side, like in my DMs. They texted me. People called. They sent encouraging words. Oh my gosh, you guys, there were so many amazing messages and words of inspiration and encouragement. And people were saying, oh my gosh, you've inspired me. Like, that made me cry. Like, those things made me cry because I did it for me. I wasn't doing it for a show or anything like that. It was for me. And I just felt so good because the day just happened. And it just so happened to be, I woke up that morning feeling like I felt like, you know what, screw this. I'm not fighting with things anymore. If it's in my power, I can make a decision and not have to struggle with these things. And so it just so happened it was daylight saving time, which is, spring forward. And so I made a caption on my Facebook or my social media pages. And I was like, what better day than National Women's Day and daylight savings time, where I am truly springing forward, and in doing that, I'm cutting off things that were once holding me back. And so the hair being one, people and situations being another, mindsets and just different things, that was a day that was a huge awakening for me. And I didn't set out for it to be all of that. But as the day went on and I began to reflect, that's exactly what it turned out to do. And so, just so happened when it was time for me to go back in, 2 weeks to get a little shape up or, kind of get the, hair trimmed back down some, COVID-19 and the, various social distancing type of practices kind of went into place. And I wasn't able to go and get the routine shape up that I had planned to do, 2 weeks after my cut, So I'm like, man, of all times to go get my hair cut, it would be in the midst of a darn pandemic at this point. So I had to go like the last few months without, a shape up or anything to keep that new style up. But I've been playing around with it. And then just last week, I was able to go back and get him to shave it back down for me for the first time since I went originally back in March. But I say all of that to say this for you guys, that your personal growth, your personal development, your freedom, your peace, your joy, they all start with, first of all, God, but secondly, with you. And you do not have to deal with anything you don't want to deal with. I know that there are some things that are the exception. And I know that there are some things that you don't have within your power to change right now. But God does, and he can when he's ready and when you're ready, so that's a whole nother thing. But there are some things, there are some people, there are some habits that you have that you're tired. You don't like the results of the habits, and you're tired of bearing the bitter fruit from some of your habits. And then you're like, I'm tired of this. But you don't have to continue to deal with reaping the bitter fruit from the habit. Because guess what you can do? You can stop that habit. The Bible talks about how, I think it was a house that had like 7 demons or something. I'm not trying to get spiritual on you all, but I'm just making a point. And when the person got rid of the 7 demons, they didn't replace that space that the demons were taking up with something positive. So it was just an empty house, which left room then for the demons to come back and bring other ones with them. And the point there, the illustration in that was get rid of the bad, but you must not only get rid of the bad, you must replace it with good. Unless, otherwise getting rid of something just frees up your time. And then what are you going to do with it? It leaves room for something else to come and take that previous thing's place. And it could be something that is just as toxic or whatever. So I say that if you have some bad habits and you're reaping the bitter fruit from those bad habits and you're tired of that fruit in your life, then you don't have to keep reaping that type of harvest. Plant better seeds. Put them in better soil. Water them and tend them daily, and you'll see a better harvest, a better crop, better results, sweeter fruit. Does that make sense, you guys? And so that starts with your mindset. It starts with your prayer life. It starts with the word. It goes, also the words you speak, positive words, not deadly or damaging words, things that tear down and destroy, words of discouragement and discord. Watch what you're saying, because eventually you will see what you're saying. Does that make sense? Watch what you say, because you will eventually watch what you say. Your words create worlds. And that's a whole nother podcast, because I've got something that's, oh my gosh, if I tell you all some things that my words have brought into my life, oh my gosh, that's a whole nother thing. But if you know, you know. Some of y'all that know me, y'all know, oh my gosh. But anyway, that being said, so one thing that I want to say from this whole episode is to, like Tiffany Haddish and like this Tiffany here, and others, let some things go. Let some things go. You do not have to hold on to everything, because everything's not worth you holding on to. You don't have to fight against things in battles that don't need to be fought. Let that stuff go. Because if your ultimate goal is peace and joy, tranquility, pleasure in life, if the things that you're struggling with don't align with that, let it go. Bring more things in, think more things, speak more things, listen to more things, read more things, watch more things, participate in more things that do align with those goals. Recently, I began painting. It's just therapeutic. That gives me peace. I've purchased some canvases. They were just 10. You get a pack of 10 for $10.99 at Hobby Lobby. They're 8x10 sized canvases. I bought some of those just last weekend, and a tabletop art easel that was like $10, $11 at Hobby Lobby. Bought some acrylic paint and like a little brush set. Like you get 25 brushes for like $5.99. And I bought those canvases, and I also bought some clay pots that you would plant plants in. And so I was going to paint the clay pots and paint on the canvases and just let that be something to do in my evenings on the weekend. You know, dim lights and relaxing music and a glass of wine and my thoughts and just a peaceful opportunity to just create and just relax and just be at peace. And those are small things that you can do right there where you are. When you just silence the noise from the outside world and you just spend some time with you. And when you love yourself, when you value yourself, you'll value your time because we know it's a commodity. Once you spend it, you can never get it back. I say that every week in the closing of my show. And when you value that, so many things change for you. The way you see things, people, situations, projects that you want to take on or not, conversations that you choose to have or not, things you choose to participate in or deal with or not. All that changes when you begin to value yourself, love yourself, and value your own time. In addition to the painting, I've also become a plant mom, as you heard in the intro every week. And it's just a peaceful thing. There's so many relations or ways you can relate nature and planting to life. Planting a seed, it won't do much if it's in bad soil. Planting a seed and putting it in good soil, but nurturing it with the proper amount of water, not too much, not too little, the proper amount of sunlight, not too much, not too little. Every plant has its own requirements. There are some plants that need a lot of light and a lot of water. There are some plants that thrive with a little bit. But whatever that individual plant needs, like we're all different and we all have different needs. We have some very fundamental basic needs and then others, but we still have different levels to those needs that each of us require, but we all have different love languages. We all have different passions and purposes and dreams and gifts. But in nurturing a plant, some plants grow quicker than others. You may look to the side and see your neighbor's plant just growing away, and yours is still like in the dirt. You don't even see a little bud. And so this week, we actually finally saw two of our little plants. Well, my daughter, she has some little plants. And we planted those things probably a few months ago. And we hadn't seen any results. It's just dirt. We water it, every day and give it sun and still nothing. And just the other night, both of them in two different pots decided to sprout up. And we finally see some green buds. And then over the last day or so, we've seen the buds grow taller. And that's how our blessings are. Don't give up. We know that seed is buried in dirt. But if you keep nurturing it, keep praying over it, keep working on your goals, keep working towards fulfilling that goal, it will happen. And you'll begin to see little buds. And then your buds will grow taller. And you'll see real leaves. And you will begin to see that plant, that flower, that fruit blossom. But it all starts with getting rid of what you don't want, what you don't have to deal with, finding some peace, and let that be your guide. Let love and peace, your pursuit of happiness and joy, real joy, your pursuit of God, let that be your guide. Because when it is, you, like I did and like Tiffany Haddish did, you will learn to then let the unnecessary go. And that's my time for today. I would love to hear your comments. So please leave them your comments, your questions. You can leave a voicemail. And if it's something great, I will even share that on the air in a future episode. But I want you to know I love you and I appreciate you. Okay? And remember, let it go. Let it go. Okay? All right, you all. Well, that's another amazing episode in the books. I appreciate you stopping by and listening because I do this for you. Now, it's your turn to join the conversation. Please weigh in on this episode by visiting organizedenergy.co/podcast and do two things. One, leave a written or audio comment or questions regarding today's conversation. And two, let your voice be heard by casting your vote in this week's poll based on this episode. And now that we're family, let's stay connected. Still, go to that same link, organizedenergy.co/podcast. And join my Love Shine community. Why Love Shine? Because it's all about love and it's all about light over here at the Life Unscripted podcast. Or you can find me on your own simply by visiting Facebook. You'll go to Organized Energy Consulting, find our community and groups, and then join the Life Unscripted podcast after party. Also on Instagram, find me at Life Unscripted Podcast. On Twitter, it's Life Unscripted P. And show a little love by sharing this episode with a friend or two or three. Speaking of showing love, before I get out of here, I gotta remind you of something. I want you to always remember that self-love is one of the best forms of love because no matter who comes, who goes, no matter who chooses you, who doesn't, who forgives you and who doesn't, who values you and who doesn't, so long as you choose you and you love you and you see value in you and you take time each and every day to celebrate yourself. Take time right now and write this love note to yourself. And not only do I want you to write it daily, but I want you to recite it daily in the mirror. Repeat after me. So you say your name and I'm going to say mine. Dear Tiffany, I love you. I forgive you. I accept you. I choose you. You have worth. You have purpose. You have value. You matter to me. And you matter to God. My words, my thoughts, my decisions today will prove this. Tiffany, you're already winning. You are already blessed. Keep going. Do not give up because the very best is yet to come. All right, Love Shines. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Time is a commodity, and once it's spent, we can never get it back. So I truly appreciate you spending just a little bit of yours with little old me. That's a wrap until next time. I want you to know that I love you. I'm praying for you, and I want nothing but blessings, love, and light for you and yours. Have a great week, guys. Hi. Do you feel like you have way too much on your plate to get accomplished and very little time to get it all done? Is anxiety like on 1,000 right now? Take a deep breath and woosah, and then reach out to me because I am a trusted confidant and accountability partner, and I can help you master time management and work-life balance as a professional. And because I specialize in helping to develop brands and the professionals behind them, I can also help you with your small business. So whether you're still in the conceptual stages of the business or you're trying to figure out exactly how to launch, how to brand it, how to market it, how to look good, and how to operate efficiently so that you're working smarter and not harder, I'm still your girl. For more information about how I can help you, find me at organizedenergy.co, where I am helping to develop brands and the professionals behind them. It is awesome to listen to my show.
But wouldn't it be amazing if you could launch your very own? Go from listening to launching when you pick up my new book called Is This Thing On? The Super Simple Guide to Planning, Launching, and Scaling Your Podcast. And of course, it was written by a podcaster for new and aspiring podcasters.
Building a brand and operating a business can get a little hectic sometimes. I mean, there's a million things to do and you only have two hands, but not to fret. I've got some goodies for you. I want you to visit organizedenergy.co/spill the tea. organizedenergy.co/spill the tea. I have curated a list of some of the favorite tools and resources that I use as I operate my business that have been amazing for me. They have helped me to save time. They have helped me to build my team. They have helped me to stay connected with my people. And I absolutely love so many of these tools. I want to share them with you, and it's free to download. So again, go to organizedenergy.co/spill the tea so that I can help you get started working smarter and not harder.